Um, when you're in your lead generation bunker, you're generating new prospects and you're following up with existing prospects. Those are the two main things that you're doing: generating new prospects, following up with existing prospects. Um, my group, so I have a group here at EXP. I call it Mentorship Masters. It's my revenue share group. And so they came to me and they were like, "Well, what do I do?" Now there are three buckets where all the leads that you need are going to come from. We talked about it last week, so make sure you go back and listen to that one. But I'll just repeat: it's your sphere of influence, your farm, and your niche. Okay, the way you're going to have a high volume listing business is you got to have, like scripture says, put out a lot of hooks. Cast your bread upon many waters. Okay, and the waters that you cast your bread upon are these: sphere of influence, your farm, and your niche. So you're really so the way that looks is, okay, Monday, Thursday, I'm going to work my sphere of influence. On Tuesdays, I'm going to work on my farm. On Wednesday and Friday, I'm going to work on my niche. Okay, so you can have them very specific. Now, here's what happens, Tony, for a lot of, and here's what happens to you listening right now. This is what feast or famine looks like, by the way. You're in your lead generation bunker. You generate business. You start doing this consistently. You do it for 2 weeks. All of a sudden, you got 3 appointments. Boom, you go on those appointments. You do it, and then you got a whole bunch of work. Now you got this big stack of work, and you stop lead generating. You take your foot off the lead generation pedal. Okay, and you're just working your business. Boom, 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 boom. And then you look up. You're like, oh, I don't have any business anymore. Then you go back and you start lead generating again. Now it takes about 90 days from the time that you start lead generating until you actually get paychecks into your bank account. So if you're taking your foot off the lead generation pedal, then what you're actually doing is you're creating famine for yourself down the road. You're setting yourself up for failure. You never take your foot off the lead generation pedal. I don't care how much, well, I got too much business. There's no such thing. You are not permitted to say that. There's no such thing as too much business. What you need is leverage. Here's what I found, Tony, and I'm gonna throw this out. How do you run a high volume business? Leverage. There are 40, so I have in my system, for my team, there's 46 steps that occur on every listing that we take. Okay, step number one is to generate the lead. That's what we're talking about right now. That's step number one. Now, step number, I think 41 is to close the transaction. Okay, and then there's like 5 steps after closing that have to occur in order for you to have a rocking, referral business. Now, of those 46 steps, think about this for just a minute. Of the 46 steps, only 5 require a license. Let me say it again, because we got a big broker here in the room. Only 5 of those require a license. Okay, what that means is that 91.6% of all activities that occur on a listing are leverageable. What does that mean? That means for you, what I want you to do is I want you to generate the lead, go on the appointment. Those are the 2 big things for you. Generate the lead, go on the appointment. When you have the listing, you throw it over your shoulder, your team catches it, and they take it all the way to the pay window. When I ran my group, by the way, when I talk about team, I'm talking about administrative people. I'm not talking about having a bunch of agents. You don't need that. By yourself. So when I did 153 deals on a year, it was me and 4 assistants. Okay, I was a solo agent, but I had. Same here. Yeah, so you don't. Oh, I got to have 6 buyer agents. No, you don't have to have that. But it's so highly leverageable. It's all stuff that I teach. I have a 470 page book, if you can believe that, where I actually teach all this stuff. For those that would slow down and learn it. But yeah, so when you're high on now here's how I explain it. This is how you're going to picture it in your mind. When I talk to my clients, I say, now, by the way, let me just throw this out. I want you to write this down. On any listing that you take, okay, think about this for a minute. On any listing that you take, on any listing I took, I allowed myself 3 hours to spend on that listing. On the life of the listing. Let me say it again. On the life of the listing, I spent 3 hours. That's how you're going to reserve your time. See? So and that counts generating the lead, going on the listing appointment, and closing, okay, or negotiating or whatever it was. So I spent 3 hours on every listing I took. What happened to all the other hours? My team handled all that.